This following video is a fun one and might be a departure from what you're used to seeing on our channel. Months ago, my friend Jake edited a collection of fight clips from the show Arcane together, and he had me sit down, view them, react, and break them down. Without this invite, without Jake's interest in my knowledge, we probably wouldn't have a YouTube channel. He's given me the edited footage and allowed me to release it on my channel. Please check it out and enjoy, and his channel is linked in the description. Today, my friends have put together for me this little highlight from the show Arcane with a bunch of the hand-to-hand combat scenes in there, and I'm gonna assess it, do a little reaction, and check it out. I'm really excited. So I'm gonna start it up. So right off the bat, really artfully done. Lots of slowdown. You can see all the chaos going on here. This is obviously some sort of street fight. Lots of really fast cuts. Let me bring it back a little bit. I like that tie-up right there. So if we're watching right here, this guy comes in, hits her with a 6. She slips elbow side, so that's really cool. So she slips elbow side on this guy right here. And if you're doing boxing or most martial arts, if you can get elbow side, you're briefly in control of a situation. Once you get elbow side on somebody, you can decide if you want to press your offensive advantage and try to build some momentum there, or if you want to exit from an exchange. So you see, he goes to throw his right hand here, and she slides elbow side, gets a hold of him, ends up in a clinch, does some dirty boxing work, and throws him onto those barrels over there, which is really cool. Yep, that is an accurate way of how you would choose to go on the attack in a responsible way. It's a lot of fun watching two fighters stand on the line and fight each other, but you don't want to be one of those people. You want to fight smarter than that, especially, you know, if you're a small lady fighting a scary guy here with all of his buddies, you know, you don't want to fight somebody force for force on the line. You want to hunt for those advantages, which is what she does there. Good. No hitting people with sticks in boxing.
Wait!
So, obviously, you know, we talk about playing to your strengths and playing to your advantages here. If you just beat someone in a fight and then they have a knife and they tell you to wait when you're leaving, don't wait. Don't come back, all right? She comes all the way back, and I assume...
Want to see how that ends?
And she's just flexing on this guy. So she's in control of that situation. She's comfortable coming back, but that's a movie thing. That's a TV show thing. You know, you could see his confidence is broken, her confidence is strong, you know, but that is an important part of, you know, if we take the weapons and everything out of this, that is an important part of fighting, is the perception, the momentum of a fight, you know? You know, she comes in there confident. You want to see how this thing ends? You know, he doesn't look confident. He's slouched over, he's hurt. You know, I talk to my athletes all the time about not just picking the right positions, but picking the right moments to go on the attack. And fighting's it's a lot less like a shootout, like an Old West movie, and a lot more like a game of tug of war with that confidence and that momentum. You know, there is a moment where it is appropriate to press your advantage, and she decided this was the one. Yep. And he's long gone. All right, we got her training. I'm jealous. I want a rig like that. Good defense. She's layering in her defense. You can see when she slips, it's not just that she's moving her head. It's she's moving her head and she's layering her guard and she can see she's in the right position to fight back. They must have studied actual boxing tape to get a scene like this.
Vander said to lay low.
High score. Nice. Very cool. All right, time to put it to the test. And again, in a knife fight here with somebody much larger than her on a catwalk. That'll level the playing field, though. She's not bare knuckles. She doesn't have gloves. She's got big metal gauntlets. That'll help. And she blocks. Beautiful. So that was an awesome shot right there. Let's check it out. She gets control inside of this person's offense. And then she attacks. So this plays off a pattern that you see in boxing a lot called same side returns. So this guy comes to swing through from the right side. She blocks with her left hand. She creates an opening up his center line so that she can fight back. If you let somebody get inside of your hands, you're in trouble because you've got nothing to obstruct their path to attack you. But if you can stay inside of them, everything nice and tight and compact, then you can create openings to hit. If you go way, way back, history lesson, if you go way, way back, first black heavyweight champion, Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson used to do this to guys all the time, where they'd go to hit him and he'd use either a leverage block or a frame to open up their guard, and then he's hitting on the inside and he's forcing their defenses wide so that he can get those shots off. Obviously, Jack Johnson was the Galveston Giant. He's the bigger guy. But if you look at guys like Henry Armstrong or guys like Roberto Duran, this is a tactic that plays out for small fighters too, and you can definitely see that disparity here. Nice. So this is cool because from a narrative perspective, you know, she's on this catwalk where she's got all these baddies, these bad guys coming at her, and it looks like she's got to fight them like on the line, one at a time, but she's still being maneuverable. She's still thinking elbow side. She's still taking angles. So if we go back and we watch this again, boom, she drop steps elbow side over to her closed side, bang, hits over the shoulder, drop steps to the open side, bang, hits over the shoulder. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, where you don't want to fight on the line. That's literally beautiful boxing. Like, they might have watched like Lomachenko or somebody like that to get this down. But in quick succession, drop step to her closed side, hammer, drop step to her open side, hammer. Cool. Nice, and again, she's hunting for elbow side. I guess you can get ring outs in this, that's awesome. Another same side return. And at this point, her form is getting kind of odd, but you know, she's knocked out 6-7 people in a row. And I think you could make an argument that if you look at those big gauntlets, they look heavy. So like, you might not even, you know, if I'm just thinking through the logistics of this, you might not be able to maintain nice, compact, small boxing just from a momentum standpoint with this, you know? You need a little bit of sling, a little bit of weight, a little bit of space to accelerate something big and heavy like that. And we're seeing that weighing on her here. Elbow side, body shot. And so I'm gonna call right now, I'm gonna call some shenanigans here. So I'm gonna call right now, she got elbow side, she slipped down to her left, and then she hammered that guy on the right side of his body with big metal gauntlets on. The right side of your body is where your liver's at, all right? Anybody who's not a combat athlete, who's never been hit in the liver before, if you get clobbered in the liver, your body suffers an immediate vasovagal response, your blood pressure drops, and you're gonna go down either horizontal or take a knee to equalize your blood pressure. It's not a tough guy thing, it's not a sit-ups thing, you don't have a choice in the matter. There's no way that dude got clobbered in the liver with metal gauntlets and stayed up for more shots. Let's see that again. Boom, elbow side, boom, liver shot, he's still swinging. And I think this guy's taking EPO or some sort of anabolic or something. She's ready though. Oh, look at all the blood on those gauntlets. This is gritty. There you go. I'm not surprised that didn't work. You know, you're supposed to set up your shots with your jab. She jumped in there like Captain Kirk, trying to give him both hands at once. Very cool. Seems like the right move. Nice. All right, new scene here. Ah, she's coming in with the flying knee. I don't know who this girl is. Bar fight.
You filthy traitor.
Vander.
Good frame. So obviously this is really cinematic and they're talking to each other like people always do in action movies and stuff like this. But, you know, if you're gonna tie somebody up, you need to have control of their head and their arm. All right, if you want to tie somebody up successfully. And you can see that she does that here.
Proudest chance.
All right, she's got that same juice that the other guy had on the catwalk.
I see you never learn patience.
Good, so we talk about those same side returns again, you know? This is the second time that our girl Vi has been punished for not setting things up with the left hand. She tried to jump in on the last guy and she got snagged and tied up for that. And she tried to open with a big right hand, and again, she got snagged by this girl, where this girl focuses on those same side returns, where she defends, and then she ties up, and then she attacks through that defensive opening. Because in boxing, the resources you use for offense and defense are both the same thing. It's your hands. If something's out there being offensive, then it's not at home being defensive. If something's home being defensive, it's not out there being offensive. Boom. Oh, body shot with a metal arm. Beautiful. There's elbow side again. They understand that concept incredibly well. You know, those same side returns, whether you are blocking and returning on the same side, parrying, returning on the same side, slipping, returning on the same side, rolling, returning on the same side. That's where the opening is. If you're fighting somebody with responsible layered defense, it feels good to block on one side and attack to the other side. But if you're blocking on this side, they're blocking on this side. That shot doesn't exist against a skilled fighter. I'm sure they're trying to speak to her character, like there's a whole show don't tell thing here, but I love how absolutely married she is to just jumping in with that cold right hand. I think that's a lot. If she was my athlete, I'd be screaming at her not to do that. Good head movement. Less good head movement. Obviously, this is a street fight, but anybody who's an old veteran in boxing knows if you end up in a bad spot where things aren't looking your way, foul the person. That's the move. All right, get yourself out of that bad spot. You only get 10 seconds to recover. They get 5 minutes to recover. Nice, I love this. Fighting in a phone booth, nice and tight. Inside work. Good, taking that base away. Beautiful. Yep. We talk about fighting on the line a lot, you know? If you end up in a situation where you have to fight on the line, then it's in your interest to prioritize compromising that person's stance and base, you know? At the very least, put them in a position where they can't fight you on equal terms. If you can take a foot away, if you can push them off balance, if you can frame and occupy an arm, if you can use your head to leverage and get them on their heels or get them to lose sight of you, you know, those are ways where you can weigh the scales where you can have more success if you're fighting on the line with somebody, and she's rough and tumble. She gets that. Drop kick through the wall. Awesome. Okay, another new scene. All right, we got folks flying here. Hoverboards. Beautiful. More same side return work, more elbow side work right there. So, boxing is designed as a martial art to be super defensible from head on. The whole stance is designed like a modern car. It's designed to collapse. It's designed to absorb force. It's got all these points of articulation for that. Boxing is not designed to absorb force from the back or from the sides, which is why your greatest advantage comes from outmaneuvering your opponent and why your greatest vulnerability comes from being outmaneuvered. So somebody got around her, whacked her. She's not in a position to dissipate that force. And there it is. There's that jumping right hand again. That's her favorite signature punch. It looks like it worked this time. First time it's worked. Good. Nice. Great guard. Though it's easier to have a good guard the bigger those gloves are, and those gauntlets are huge. I usually train in 16 ounces. Those are probably 60 pounds. But that's something that a lot of guys notice is different, you know? If you train in 16-ounce gloves, they're pretty big. It's like having a tower shield. It keeps you really, really safe, you know? A lot of guys, when they fight, especially in the smaller weight classes, when they're fighting in 8-ounce gloves or 10-ounce gloves, all of a sudden they recognize shots are sneaking through their guard that wouldn't usually get through. She looks super defensible with those giant gauntlets on. Cool. Beautiful catch and pitch work. Bang, 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 bang. I love it. There. That's what a body shot should look like. Cool. And so that's another situation, again, of getting elbow side, is that woman goes to throw her left hand, that big mechanical arm, and Vi drop steps under it, and she's in charge for a second there. She uses that to wrap. If you're looking in like an MMA context or something like that, that's a good transition where people will take the fight to the ground. In boxing, she just hucks her into the bar. Cool, things getting wild. It's like a Jackie Chan movie up in here. People are like throwing tables and screaming and doing flips. It's a little above my pay grade. Cool, good movement. It's fun that they take her, like, obviously heavily boxing-inspired style of fighting, and they use it even in stuff like this, where she's dodging a sword, where she's rolling it, and her guard is up, and she's moving. That's fun. The movements are the same. Ooh, projectile. See, there's that good guard. Not getting through that. Oh, maybe. Alright, looks like she's down a gauntlet. So if you do ever get your nose broken, do not blow your nose. Absolutely do not do that. So she just snot rockets right through there. But if you ever get your nose broken, all that swelling means a lot of that pressure and that blood in your sinuses can't go anywhere. And I've seen a lot of good fights stop because a fighter breaks their nose, they try to clear out their nose, and then it makes their eye swell up or their eye swell shut. So, fiction. Don't do that. All right. Good. All right, we're back at it. She's coming in one gauntlet. Cool. I'm going to give a shout out to one of my favorite boxing pieces of media ever. If you guys haven't seen Hajime no Ippo, the anime, it's a lot like this, where it takes all these boxing movements and it makes them like big and explosive and ballistic, and there's lightning and fire and all sorts of stuff. I had somebody describe to me the Rocky movies once, and I think that this applies to both this and to Hajime no Ippo, where they say, this is not an accurate depiction of what boxing is. This is an accurate depiction of what boxing feels like. It's like big and it's explosive, and I think this captures that really, really well. The fights have a lot of like weight and speed and aggression to them, you know? Cool. Ooh. Ooh. Beautiful tie-up. Lots of damage. Got a little WWE in here, but that's okay. Wow. Nice. That was a really, really cool highlight. Lots of fun stuff. As far as realism goes, obviously this is all very exaggerated, you know? But a lot of the principles, whether it's because the people who choreograph these scenes understand the principles, or whether it's because they picked really, really good source material to study and imitate, you know, these are really good looking fight scenes, you know? I love the elbow side work, I love the angles, I love the same side returns, I love how, like I said, how weighted everything feels. Arcane definitely gets it right. Definitely gets the nod. Cool.